Well, something leaked, and Mississippi State fans are not happy. The internet's tearing into these possible new jerseys, but are they really that bad? Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Mississippi State, your daily podcast on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. I'm Jaron, Spor, National College Football Writer at Athlon Sports. That's Landon McBride. We got a full show for you today, a football pack show for you today. The new jerseys for the football team have possibly been leaked, and so we're going to talk about that because a lot of people are not happy about it. Also, ESPN's FPI, I believe it released last week, and Mississippi State's actually not in last place in the SEC. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll end it with football added a tight end in the recruiting class. Almost a transfer portal, not the transfer portal, recruiting class. So we'll talk about that and how big of a commitment that was. But let's first dive into these new jerseys. I wish we had pictures where we could pull up and kind of show them, but people are not happy as it was apparently leaked. Not just Mississippi State. There were several jerseys under the Adidas brand that were leaked. The white one, as Landon and I both kind of looked at, they're not much different from the previous one. I mean, the little logo right here in the middle on the collar, instead of saying or having the Mississippi State logo, it just says state. That was kind of the only change on that. Although the weird thing is they did do those white dots on some of the jerseys in the past. And then there's been sometimes they're not going back to those white dots. So the white dots on the numbers, the maroon numbers, those aren't there. So yeah, a lot of people are upset about that. The maroon ones didn't get leaked, so we don't know what those look like. The alternate grays did get released, and they're just gray and say state and look like a practice jersey.
All right, so everyone was getting mad about those white ones, and they're plain. And yes, there's not a lot of changing to it, but they're a little too plain. The gray one is an abomination. It is honestly one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen. It honestly looks like the jersey you see if you play a Madden franchise way too long and they start making teams move and you're playing like the San Diego Aztecs or something in the year 2086. This is what they would be wearing.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And I compared it to a practice jersey. I mean, it looks like just something that you will throw in for practice. The white ones, I get the backlash on it because they're just kind of plain. They're white and they have the two red stripes on the shoulders. But because Mississippi State has so many different combinations with the helmets, I think if they go to the all-white look, which we've seen, I think it's a clean outfit. I like the all-white is a very clean look. I love the maroon jerseys already that we have. Now, we'll see what these new ones look like. I doubt they're going to be much different. But like you said, the grays are kind of the ones I would have the biggest issue with if I was a fan. But the white ones, as long as they go with the white helmets, because like the maroon helmet and the maroon pants with the white, I don't love that look. But the all white, especially if you have like a white out type thing and you wear the whites, even though you're the home team, like that would be a clean look. But I think the whites look pretty sweet, depending on, again, the combination with the helmet and the pants. But yeah, the grays are just, man, they're bad. And I will say, and I want to preface this, we have seen this many times where this kind of stuff gets leaked, and it's leaked by Adidas or Nike or whoever, Jordan, because they want to see what the backlash is. And if it's bad, then they change it. And then what actually comes out isn't that. So that's also a possibility.
Yeah, it's possible. And there are a few things I enjoy talking about more on a football field than like interior offensive line play, and jerseys and uniform combinations is one of those things. So yeah, I'm with you. The all white looks good. Now they could change up. I think a maroon helmet with like this white jersey and white pants could look good. Depending on, maybe you mix in a couple different helmets, especially if you go with like a throwback logo on the side. that would look really cool. Use that for maybe like a homecoming game or something. But the great Deion Sanders once said, "You look good, you feel good, you play good." They're not going to be looking good in those gray ones, and that holds true. They will not play good either.
Yeah,
So,
if you want to throw them out for one
those,
game, maybe.
I don't even know if you do that, because if it was black, I could see what you're trying to do.
Well, and I think that's what I think they're trying to go with, a dark gray, like they've done in the past.
It's like an asphalt. It's kind of the color of my shirt, honestly.
Yeah.
And so,
the ones that they went with are like a little too light to be the dark gray. It's just a weird, but it's not light gray. It's still a darker gray, but it's like lighter, and it just, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Either maybe if it was darker and you use maroon to accent, maybe use some maroon stripes.
Yeah, it's just white. It's just gray and white.
It's just white and just says state, and not even like in script. It's just in that block font. Right. It's so weird. And I mean, it's one of those things, like, you kind of look at the white one, you're like, it's a little plain. I could see maybe doing this to it to make it look better. And then you scroll down and you see the gray one. It's like, you know what? The white one looks really good. The white one looks real good next to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do want to clarify. Mississippi State, they have like two different kind of white helmets. They have the one with the white face mask and the one with the maroon face mask. When I say the all white with the white helmet, I'm talking about the white face mask. I think all white is actually a clean. Where you said look good, play good, I think if you wore those all whites, you would feel pretty good about the way you look. And then obviously the maroons. Again, the maroons is a good uniform. I think. I personally like it. It's just whenever they decide to wear that gray, it better be against some team you're going to beat like a drum, because you're not going to look good in it.
Yeah, honestly, some of my favorite ones are the ones from 2002, 2003 with the Mississippi State on the jersey. Yeah, those I liked better than just the nothing or the logo here. I don't know.
They had a white one like that had the Mississippi State written and then the state on the white helmet. Like, I actually like that a lot too.
Yeah, I think that with having just the number on the front, it just looks almost too plain. There needs to be a little bit something else added to it. But yeah, I think we're on the same page as the all whites. And, David Lee Roth said, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you look when you do it.
Right. So, the funny thing is, because like you said, it's just a number on the front, outside of the little logo right here on the neck, basically. Other than that, it's just a number. Then obviously you have the number, the name, and then the stripes. That's the whole jersey. Someone got paid to come up with that idea. That plain idea, someone got paid to come up with.
I will do it for less.
Yes. Yeah. Like, that is the most basic jersey. Like, what happened in those pitches? Like, hey, let's go around the table. Yeah, I want like Mississippi State written here. I want this. I don't know about that. What do you want? Just throw a number on it. And then we'll do two stripe of the maroon. Like, who cares? Like, that was your pitch?
The stripes don't even go all the way around either. It's just
right. It's just, I don't know. It's so bad. Like, let's end this agreement with Adidas and switch to someone else. Like, come on.
And the gray one, it's the state. It's not a font Mississippi State uses for anything.
No, you're right.
Block font that seems to almost be angled in. Like, it's all seems to be, and it could just be the way the jersey's hanging, but it does kind of seem to be almost tilted toward the middle in a very weird way. I don't know what Adidas was thinking. I mean, you see the jerseys Nike's putting out for all of these teams, and this is what you come up with, Adidas?
No, you're right. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't look like they really tried when they put together. Again, these are just leaks. It doesn't, we don't know if they're true, and it might have been leaked by them to kind of get a feel of the land and then put out something a lot better. We don't know. It could have been, we see so many teams now with 7, 8, 9 different jerseys. Right. And we've seen several teams with 8, 9, 10 jersey combinations. It could just be one of those. Like, we don't know exactly. So we'll have to wait and see. But all right, coming up next, ESPN's FBI has come out, and Mississippi State's not last in the SEC. We'll talk about who is and what their expectation is for the season. All right, well, there's nothing like the NBA playoffs, the intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere you must experience live, and this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Gametime makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop closer to tip-off, and with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, Gametime is a total game changer. I was just looking on the app for the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers. There will be a game 5, and that's back near kind of where I'm at. And so they have some great deals and some zone deals. We're offering 60% off and some great sections. I've even used it recently, actually like a week or two ago, to buy tickets for the Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, Thanksgiving Day. Helped my soon-to-be father-in-law look up tickets for that. So, and used Gametime, and it was amazing app. It was super simple. Ticket prices were amazing. I looked at all different kinds of websites, and Gametime was incredible with it. So, Gametime would be my choice, and it is my choice going forward. But take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. And one more thing, like I said, you get the panoramic seat views. My soon-to-be father-in-law wanted to know exactly where his seat was, and we were able to look at it, and so it gave him a good feel before purchasing the ticket, because, you know, tickets, especially for a Thanksgiving Day game, aren't always the cheapest, and so you want to make sure if you're going to spend the money, you're in a seat that you like. But terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so ESPN released its Football Power Index, and for those that don't know what that is, it's a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. So it's basically an analytics things driven, just kind of going off of your talent, and just it has a bunch of factors that go into it. Now, it's not a perfect formula. It was very high on Alabama all season last year, even towards the end when they had several losses. Thought it was a top, I believe, 5 team most of the year. They were number 1 for a while. So it's not a perfect model, but what it does is it ranks you with your power index, and then it gives your projected win totals. It gives your percent chance for a 6-win season, to win your conference, to make a playoff, to win a national championship, and so on and so forth. So for Mississippi State, they are not in last place. In fact, Vanderbilt is in last place. So that's kind of a surprise because of the year Vanderbilt just had. I thought if anyone was going to be below them, it would be Kentucky, but they're a little higher on Kentucky than even I am. I mean, they have Kentucky winning 5.6 games, so basically 6 games. They think they're going to be a bowl team. It actually gives them a 50% chance to make a bowl. But Mississippi State, it gives them a basically 4 wins, 4.4. Almost able to round that up to 5, which we've talked about the 3 that we think would happen. Finding the 4th would be very hard, but they have apparently found the 4th and possibly have found a 5th going off that. And then it gives them a 24% chance to win 6 games, which is the lowest in the conference. Hey, but you're telling me there's a chance, 0.7% to make the playoff.
Let's go. Apparently 0% chance to make it to the national championship, though. So I don't know how they figured out we sneak in the playoff and aren't on such a heater.
The funny thing is 0.1% chance for Kentucky to make the national championship. So we didn't quite make it.
Oh, man. This is always interesting to kind of see where everyone falls and kind of see how they view it. Vanderbilt being at the bottom is weird. I mean, and it's also strange that they have them ranked lower because they have them projected to win 4.8 games. So it's just kind of a weird ranking, which I've always found this one to be challenging to read because they kind of seem to contradict themselves with each little tick. But
they do that a lot. Like they have A&M over Tennessee, but Tennessee is projected to win more games than A&M is. You know, and Ole Miss is below LSU, even though they're projected to win more games than LSU is. Which LSU they are not high on, 7.9 win total. They are not high on the Tigers at all.
Yeah, and this, like I said, this is just very strange. But they're I mean, it took a lot of math for them to come to the exact same conclusion that the two of us came to months ago. This is probably a 4-win team. I mean, there's a chance for a fifth. We've talked about how there's an outside chance really at, both the Arizona State and Arkansas game are two that we've kind of circled as could be the fourth, and maybe that's 4 and 5. So, I mean, they're kind of in the same boat we are, and we didn't have to use a bunch of fancy formulas to get there.
Yeah. And I did find out how they come up with it. The projected results are based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI, results to date, and the remaining schedule. So it takes all that into account. I don't know if they have their
20,000 first one was going to be the one where we won the national championship.
Yep. I agree. I'm right there with you. They also will eventually have the strength of schedule in there, but they don't actually have it just yet. So it's not posted, but usually that is another one that it's really great for is efficiency. So you can find out how efficient your offense and defense is, which is a way better indicator how good your team is than total defense or total offense, because it takes everything into account. But no, I mean, I was surprised by it. My question, I wish we could see the schedule and show like the percent chance they're giving for each game, because I would love to know who that almost fifth win is against, because I don't know who it would be.
Yeah, like I said, the only ones I can come up with would be they're giving them Arizona State and Arkansas. I mean, that's really the only way, because those are the two we've discussed as possibly being
they're giving them Missouri.
That too. Maybe they think Missouri falls apart. It's
Ole Miss, maybe because it's a home game.
Yeah, maybe they don't believe in the reloaded, not $20 million team there. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know. They're just calling for a big upset. I don't know. Maybe they're projecting a win over Tennessee. It's without having the strength of schedule, all that, it's kind of hard to figure out what they're projecting on beyond this. But it was shocking that Vandy is last and not Kentucky. If we're talking about which one.
Yeah, if Mississippi State's not last, I'm surprised it's not Kentucky. It probably should be Kentucky, honestly.
Yeah, they must be bigger Zach Calzada fans than we are, but
not as big as Diego Pavia fans as a lot of people are, because that's why a lot of people think Vanderbilt will be good. Clark Lee obviously has done a great job there, and so we'll see what kind of season they can have after last year. But overall, I mean, here's a question: if they do get 4 wins, or they're able to get that 5th win, but let's stick with 4. What's your thoughts on the season? Is that a success? Is that still a failure? I mean, let's be real, 4 and 8 isn't a great season, but after 2 and 10, like, it's an improvement, obviously. But like, how are you feeling after the year? Like, are you sure Levy's the guy? Like, what's your thoughts?
I feel like you have to see how you get there. Like, if you get, those 3 wins that we assume they're going to win, those first 3 games, they get those. And then let's say they, eke out a win over Arkansas, Missouri, one of those guys. But they get absolutely boat raced in every other game. Sure. I'm not feeling good about 4 and 8.
Yeah.
But if you win those 4 games and you play, 6 of those other 8 are close games that you put up a fight and you just kind of lose it in the 4th quarter, feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Well, here's them playing devil's advocate. What if you win 3 games, but you're within 15 in all of them, but you go 3 and 9?
I mean, it's still kind of the same. You feel a little less good, but I mean, you're still kind of in that same boat. You see because that means you're seeing the progress, and you're dealing with an incredibly tough set schedule that, even the most optimistic projections are 4.5 wins.
And you don't have the talent that a lot of these guys do, or the depth. And so a lot of those games that you lose that are close, you probably lost because of depth.
Yeah. Lost because of depth and like the high-end talent. Like, you have the one guy on the other side who breaks it open, and you don't have the depth to just keep rotating fresh guys in toward the end of the game. So it's hard to say you feel good about 4 and 8, but that situation, you probably do.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so Mississippi State added their 10th commitment in the 2026 class. Who is it, and what kind of impact could he have? We'll talk about that. That's coming up next. Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so Mississippi State landed a commitment from Adam Land. This was, I believe it was on Tuesday, when he committed. On Tuesday evening, actually, so not too long ago. But he's the nation's number 55 ranked tight end. Like I said, he became the 10th commitment in the class. He's 6'3.5" and 215 pounds, and he had 22 catches for 337 yards and 2 touchdowns last season. So, kind of, what was your thoughts on that signing, or I guess commitment?
I think it's pretty good. Watching a little bit of his highlights. He does play in line some, but he seems to be, at that size, 6'3.5", 215. He's kind of more of like the big slot type the receiving tight end more than your classic tight end. But if you're going solely off recruiting rankings, 24/7 has him as the lowest commit in this class. But like I've said, yes, stars matter, but they don't matter to the individual. So this could be someone that other people just did miss on, or he's a late bloomer or something. I think it's a good depth piece. We've talked about how important the tight end can be to Levy's offense. So if you get him in, he's probably not a guy that's going to play much as a freshman. You probably want to redshirt him, get him a couple reps, and maybe as a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, you start seeing him on the field more.
Yeah, and he was a high school teammate of Locavion Jackson, who was a part of the 2025 class as a cornerback, so that helps at least. But he actually talked about what you just mentioned about being more of a receiving tight end than a blocking tight end. He said that he likes to classify himself more as a route running tight end, but he does like to block. But he liked how Mississippi State used the tight ends efficiently in their playbook, and that was a big factor to it as well. But ultimately, he said he was talking with his dad, and they had come home from a couple of camps, and they were kind of just weighing the pros and cons, and nothing really got close to Mississippi State. And so that was just kind of ended it right there.
Yeah, and I will say, yes, he's not like a great blocker, but he's willing to get in there and do it. There's a lot of clips on his highlight reel of him sticking his nose in and doing everything he can. So
a lot of tight ends aren't great out of high school.
Yeah,
that's something they develop, because usually in high school they are playing like a receiver basically,
and a lot of them don't want to block. And the fact that he is a willing blocker, that says a lot. And since we've been on a uniform kick, I love his accessories on there. He's going like yellow shoes, a receiving sleeve, and then like the high armband. It looks good. So that'll be a nice addition to the team from a aesthetic standpoint, regardless of what jerseys we end up bringing out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and he also said he's going to be an early enrollee. The plan is to graduate early and be a January enrollee. That means that's great because, one, get in the weight room right away. At 215, you can't play in the SEC as a tight end at 215. But a lot of freshman tight ends aren't ready to play physically. It takes them a couple years to get bigger and get there. Usually by year 3, they're about in that spot, and they're typically they redshirt, so they're a redshirt sophomore by the time that happens, and that's what you would want and hope for if you're him and his family. But all right, well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm Jaron. Check out my work over on Athlon Sports. That's Landon. Follow us, Locked On Mississippi State. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We post a video Monday through Friday, so definitely check us out over there. We also post a question every single day when we post a video. It's in the comment section, so we love your feedback on that. And then we also post a poll. So we love your feedback when we post polls. The most recent poll that we post said, how should Mississippi State prioritize its NIL budget under the new cap? As of this podcast, 18 votes had come out, and it said balance between football and baseball at 72%. No percent said focus primarily on football. Prioritize sports with the highest revenue potential. That's 22%. That would be football, men's basketball. Equal distribution across all sports got 6% of the vote. So we love your feedback on that one. And we love all your feedback on those kind of polls. So, just keep it coming. But until next time, Hail State.
Hail State.